Hi, how y'all doing? I am Sonia Victory, and I am starting a new podcast. Oh, I am so excited. I am so blessed to even be here to speak and to speak in wholeness and healing and grace and mercy. I'm just so thankful, guys. And I just want to come to you and share with y'all the love and kindness that it comes from God, the peace and the joy and happiness to be living in this time, in this season. So I'm going to go forth and I'm going to start off with Psalms 25 in the English Standard Version. Psalms 25 from the beginning. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. O my God, in you I trust. Let me not be put to shame. Let not my enemies exult over me. Indeed, none who wait for you shall be put to shame. They shall be ashamed who are wantonly treacherous. Make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. For you I wait all the day long. Remember your mercy, O Lord, and your steadfast love, for they have been from of old. Remember not the sins of my youth or my transgressions. According to your steadfast love, remember me. For the sake of your goodness, O Lord, good and upright is the Lord. Therefore, he instructs sinners in the way. He leads the humble in what is right and teaches the humble his way. All the paths of the Lord are steadfast love and faithfulness for those who keep his covenant and his testimonies. For your name's sake, O Lord, pardon my guilt, for it is great. Who is the man who fears the Lord? Him will he instruct in the way that he should choose. And his offspring shall inherit the land. Or excuse me. His soul shall abide in well being, and his offspring shall inherit the land. The friendship of the Lord is for those who fear him, and he makes known to them his covenant. My eyes are ever toward the Lord, for he will pluck my feet out of the net. Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted. The troubles of my heart are enlarged. Bring me out of my distresses. Consider my affliction and my trouble, and forgive all my sins. Consider how many are my foes, and with what violent hatred they hate me. Oh, guard my soul and deliver me. Let me not be put to shame, for I take refuge in you. May integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait for you. Redeem Israel, O God, out of all his troubles. Amen, amen, amen. Glory, glory. Okay, so I'm coming to you because I just know what God is doing. And this is just a blessing to me, and I want to be a blessing to others by telling my testimony, by giving the people hope and letting you know because it's so much. Everybody's talking, everything is going on. It's so many things going on. Okay, and that's what it is. It says broad is the way to destruction, but narrow is the path to righteousness. So when you walk in broad, that means everything is going on around you, and you're walking in it. And so that means you can go any which way when you're walking abroad. But when you're walking the narrow path, which is unusual to the people that's walking the broad, but the narrow path leads to righteousness, which is God. can't just get to God any kind of way. And that's the broad way. But the narrow way, you can get to God that way because there's only one way. Okay? So let's get that understood. So with me, I've overcame and endured so much as a young woman. And it's been I see that with God, he say his burden is light, his yoke is easy. And which that means is anything that we are faced with, all that we're faced with in life, with God, is going to be easy. We're going to have burdens. We're going to go through things. But he says, cast your burdens upon me. We have to cast our burdens on God. Burdens are worries and trials and tribulations. We cast that on God. We don't try to take on these things ourselves. And when we do, that's why we feel like we can't overcome, or it's all these other things are added, and it seems like you're not going to ever make it through. And a lot of people haven't made it through because of these things, and they're even still living with all these burdens. And God came so that we can be free, and not only that, but that our burdens that we would face because of we are in this world, in the physical, in the flesh, we would have to overcome these things in order to live a life of easy, to live a life of that's like God knew what we was going to go through. He knew what we was going to do before we did it, whether it be good or bad, you know. So I so when people see me and know what I've been through, when I tell you some things that I've been through and share with you, you will say like, but you make it seem like easy. It wasn't me. It was God. It wasn't nobody but God, because I could have reacted the same way as another person, but I chose to do what the word says. I chose, even in spite of the things and the people that went before me didn't have enough tenacity or boldness to to walk the narrow path, to choose, because that's the will that we have. We get to choose. God's not going to force us. You can choose to be with this person or that person. You could choose to work at this place and do this and do that. You choose. He gives us that, right? But you better make sure that that choice is to is what God, according to God's will and purpose for your life. Okay, and when we're born into sin. We're born into this iniquity, which is the sin that was before us. Okay, so we have to take accountability of our own initiative to make the choice to do the right thing. We all have that choice because we all have will. So, and the enemy knows that, and that's why he has his plans to stop us and to steal from us. He comes to steal our peace and our joy and our decision making of making the right decisions. So he'll come afflicting trauma and um, lies and deception, okay, and dressing it up with, like a blessing, or trying to be a counterfeit or being a counterfeit, not trying, but a counterfeit or imposter to us. He present that to us and makes us think that this is it. Because we were born with intuition and discernment, and God with me, I know. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure like you when you were born, you knew things. You knew things that no one didn't teach you and didn't tell you. But then when you start seeing all these other things, you knew it wasn't right. You knew it didn't seem right, but it looked right. And that's where your discernment come in at. But because you were raised and cultural, you were taught this way and things of that nature, things of the world, and the parents did it. So it really interfered with what you already knew, what was already in you, that you knew you were supposed to be like this. And you knew you knew it. It's like you already had the vision of it. And then when you present it with something else, even something that looks like it, but you, you can feel it that it's not, but you can get to the place where you want to settle for it because you don't want to go through the the narrow path, the easy path, because of this thing that we have of will and choice. For making the choice, we can go down that road or that road, and the discernment is this the good road? I don't care what it looks like. Is this the narrow path or is this the broad path? And then you can also know what the results can be. But you will it's something in you, your flesh, your traditions, how you were brought up will try to go against you. Oh no, you could go ahead because if you don't go get in that relationship, if you don't take that job, you're not going to be able to survive. Or you don't settle down with that person, uh, um and you know y'all got a baby together, you got to be with that person because oh, you're going to look bad because you're not with that person or this. And it's all kinds of things that we're faced with in life that we don't even realize that we messed around and made a decision without even knowing. And then we're trained to do it over and over, generation after generation. Keep doing the same thing to making decisions instead of seeking God, seeking biblical principles and doctrine. Okay? So I'm here to let you know that this is real. This has been real. You know? It's so much stuff that can happen and so much that it has become an illusion. You don't know. You don't. People don't know if it's real or if it's fake. They just go with the regular status quo because it's comfortable. Outside of that is uncomfortable because change is uncomfortable and it's supposed to be. That's the only way it can manifest is not being comfortable. That's just like childbirth. When you're having a baby, it's not the baby don't come into this world by us sitting back saying, feeling like roses and peaches, or even feeling like it did when when we conceived. No, it don't feel like that. But so when the baby comes, you have to have excruciating contractions, right? But then when that beautiful baby come out, I mean, you see all the things that this is for the women. You understand that for the women. Now, and now for the men, because I'm not going to get into all that. We know how it is for those who have had children and birthed things out. I mean, birth kids out. children, that is, and we know that it's pain. And you can't turn around. You can't say, oh no, I can't go through this type of pain when you're birthing out. The same thing with life. You have to go through something to grow. You have to go through things you have to persevere and change. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it feels like. We still have to move forward, right? So now, as far as the men, you take an example for sports with the men. If you are a in football, you want to be the greatest. You want to be good at what you do. It takes work, hard work and ethics, meaning you have to be consistent. You have to uh, uh, um, be disciplined, self discipline on your own. Nobody don't have to tell you. Nobody. You have to be disciplined because you want to get better. You want to be stronger. You want to be the best. So you have to make these decisions to do that, and it's not easy. It's not easy. People can tell you that to be at the top, you have to do that, right? So that's the same thing as walking in this life with God in the on the narrow road. It's all it is self discipline, self control, and following, standing 10 toes down, 10 toes down on what you're moving forward to. So walking with God, we want to live life and live life more abundantly. Walking with God. How y'all doing? So walking with God, we want to walk into abundance and victory and freedom, right? But when we born into this world, we all have to go through the process, right? The process of growing and grace and getting to that point because we're here on earth. We're in the flesh, we're in the physical, we're in the material, tangible world. So we have to understand this on a practical level and also on a spiritual level. And it's the same thing, but people have the enemy has tried to throw all lies and deception to confuse us. So confusion. And how come God is not of confusion? That's why he say that. So if it's any time you at a place and you're confused and you don't know what's what, then you know that you have a problem. But see what our people have done have been operating in confusion and made it normal and comfortable. No, we can't be comfortable with confusion. We can't be comfortable in lies and deceit. We have to find out what's what. Like I said, in the spiritual aspect, that's the Bible. And in a practical way, that's intellectually. That's the wisdom of God. We get that from God first. And on his foundations. And then practically is like when we're living, walking on this earth. And that's why I said practically it is because like having a baby or in the sports, you want to be the best, but you have to go by the principles of God. You have to live by virtues of God, his commandments. And then and the enemy try to confuse you with the word. He throwing in the word. He got everybody saying this about the word, that about the word, all coming from pain, hurt, trauma, deception, lies, greed, and all these things that is not from God, but you want to say God? You didn't get that stuff from God. You're not following God's way. So why are we even saying anything about God? Why are we even doing that? Deceiving the generation that's coming. We're in we're in this together, so we have to be responsible and accountable. We have to be responsible and accountable for this thing so that things get changed. We all play a part in this. We all in this world. Nobody gets to say, oh, and then when people do stand up and take a change, y'all want to go against that person or the person that want to walk on or the people that want to walk on the narrow path. Y'all think something wrong with them, or y'all want to talk about them, or y'all want to, what is it called? Bash them or shame them because they're doing different than what everybody else is doing. I never got that part. To each his own. If that's what you want to do, then let you do. If y'all want to do what y'all want to do, then why is it? And that's in the world and culture. You want to follow people? Go ahead. But why are you worrying about somebody who's doing something different? Somebody who looks different. Somebody's okay with how they are. Just because you're not how you. That's where bullies have been breeded because they're taught that if something is wrong with them, they want to make it like if somebody don't operate the same way, they feel some type of way because it makes them see themselves. Like it's okay to see yourself. It's okay to love yourself. It's okay to be different. It's okay to stand out. That's why some people. That's why bullies learn. Some bullies. I know back then they did. Now it just took a whole nother turn. But back then, bullies learn from the people that they tried to bully, especially if they stood up for themselves. They learn from them. No, I like who I am. And you can like who you are too. But you're not going to pick on me because you feel some type of way about yourself and then thinking I'm supposed to be like that because you ain't going to go do that to somebody who's showing who they is. And some people that even showed who they was putting on the front because they'll be popular and outgoing and then go home and be just as miserable and feeling some type of way about themselves than anyone. But they knew how to put on that to make it through. You understand? So this is what we got to understand, that we have to be the change and we have to start. Like, I'm here to just let y'all know because I really have a genuine love for people. And then not only that, I overcame so much in relationships and relationships, all different types of relationships. So I understand on all aspects and diverse people, different cultures, traditions. I understand why things have been the way they are and what I can do about it and how powerful my voice is. And I'm not going to hold back. I didn't go through all these things for nothing. I didn't be exposed to many different types of people, women, men, children, just to sit back and act like it was, you know, because this is important. This is very detrimental for us to get to this place where God is calling us to be so we can grow and live life. Like live life for real. Like and stop people need to wake up. And I know it's not that hard. It's just Who's talking? Who are you listening to? And I know that you can hear me just as well as I heard God through all the things that I grew up in. All types of things that we face that was already foretold to us in the Bible of the things that we will face. And that if we get into these things, what could happen? That's what I don't understand. Why people don't understand that. Why people refuse to look at that. From the old generation to the new generation. Why people are like the new generation or the generation that's to come. Because the new generation, that's not going to be no more the old generation. It's not going to be no more of their ways. That's why people like me and others that are called and chosen for this, we put an end to it. We put a stop to it. We had to overcome things. Okay. And that only God knew that we could do. It's like you passed the baton. If you didn't, I gotta finish. I gotta finish what was started. You understand? So I'm taking my responsibility for what God told me to do and what I need to do, what He created me for. Not to be on this earth to be, you know, following what the devil have tricked me into. Because we're God's. Okay, we're God's children. I don't care what you can think of it, unless if you're if you really are the children or the seed of the devil, then I'm not even talking to you, and you're not even gonna you're gonna hear me. You're gonna know, but this is not for you because there is no way. That's where the battle is. So you got to know where you stand at, and whose you are. You can't be running with wolves and you're a lamb. Like it don't work like that. It's either you are or you're not. And you have a choice. If you're a human person, you have a choice. What side you on? Whose side you on? If you want to choose that side, go ahead. But if you're a child, because Satan has children too. That's what the Bible says. And they're come to be against us, God's children, God's seed. So, but who's the head, who's the real deal captain, Holyfield, the real deal Holyfield. That's God, our Father in heaven, the true and living God, the God of Abraham, Jacob, and Isaac. So, man, we're gonna have a good time with this podcast. I'm telling you. So, just getting started. You know, so I'm gonna end with that, and I look forward to talking to you guys. I'm gonna be making videos to talk with you guys so you can understand where we're going at. I'm gonna be giving you information on things that we need to know that have been kept from us, that we should be awakened to. We shouldn't be um, it shouldn't be so loud. Everything is loud right now, and when you have God, you don't need all this commotion going on, because all that is to take you focus, to take you off focus from who you're called to be. That's all. That's all this noise is about. And I seen it. Oh man, it was coming in. It's coming in. Oh man, and I know God is blessing me and blessing us, but God doesn't operate like that. He don't try to throw all these things so you can try to juggle all these things. That's the devil. It's to make you anxious, and it's to make you not make the right choice. You understand? We're not supposed to be like, oh, no. Deal with one thing at a time. And we got gifts, so we can do things. We can be operating with things, but it still has to fall into place. It shouldn't be all over the place things. It's good to multitask, but it's not a multitask of this and that and that and that, and have your hands in all types of stuff. It all should line up. It should all line up to your purpose, to your assignment, to your call. It should line up together. You shouldn't have your hands in everything. God would not call you to do that. Running around with your head cut off, trying to do this, trying to be everything. And that's us women. We do that. And that's because we're gifted. it's and all women is not like that. But most women are, because we have uh, a spiritual capacity of facets and creation. That's why we can give birth and men can't. So we can get carried away. So that's why you gotta know your purpose and know what God is calling you to do, so you can stick to that one thing, but do many things and that will line up to that one thing of who you are, or for your assignment. It's not to have your hands in everything, that you'll have your hands in so much stuff that you miss the main ingredient or the main course. So thank you, and I'll talk to you guys again. I haven't even decided. Should I talk to you guys daily or every other day? I just got this subjects that I'm going to talk on. I'm gonna go as I'm led. Put it that way. That's why I don't have it, but I have it lined up. I just don't have it like how the schedule gonna go, because I like to do things being led. So I know that it ain't me. Because if it was me, I'd be like, oh, I gotta be. I dot my I's and cross my T's. And God don't operate like that. Either we gonna let Him lead, or we gonna try to do it on our own. So I want everything to come from God, not from me. Because me, we be messed up. And if people can admit that, if I lead you by my way or my thoughts and what I think, I can mess up. And that's what people gotta understand. People can mess up, but when you put your trust in God, you can allow people to do what they need to do, and it still won't affect you. I don't care how much they mess up. Even if they leading you and they mess up, it won't mess you up, because you focusing on God. You trust God. You put your confidence in God, not man. Okay? So that's key for many of you out there. trust God, put all your confidence and trust in God, and you don't have to worry about nothing. He said he said, don't worry. I didn't even put confidence in. I mean, you're supposed to be confident with yourself, but don't be confident in. I'm gonna make it happen, and there's nothing can't happen. I got it. I don't care how much you think you got it together. You still can mess up if you ain't totally trusting in God. Okay, so talk to you soon. Have a blessed day.